Action.
All right, today we're adding on complementary and supplementary angles. Y'all done complementary and supplementary in geometry. The only thing I'm going to add to this, besides reminding you how to do it, is we need to deal with the radians, which is no big deal. You got your calculator. All right, first of all, do you remember complementary angles? What do they add up to be? 90. Complementary angles are 90 degrees. Or, I'm going to say or, and I'm going to give their radians. What's the radian equivalent to 90 degrees? How convert that to radian? How do you convert it? Uh-oh. Yep, times pi over 180. So what would that give you?
1/2 pi.
All right. So pi over 2, basically. All right. We need to know this. Y'all will be using these numbers a lot, so you'll get to the point where I say what's the radians for this, and you'll know it just because you use it. 90 degrees, same as pi over 2. If they talk in degrees, you answer in degrees. If they talk in radians, you answer in radians. You stick to the unit. All right, now let me make sure you remember, complementary angles are when you have two angles that add up to be 90 right there. So if I know one of them and I want to find the other one, what would I do? If I know one angle and I want to subtract from 90, that's really all you're going to be doing on all of these. All right, unless they're supplementary, and the sum of those should be 180. Good. All right, so supplementary is 180, or what's the radian equivalent for that? 180 times pi over 180 pi. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so here's a visual of supplementary. You'll have two angles that when you put them together, they make a straight line. Again, if you want to know one of those angles, you just subtract from 180 to find the other one. All right. So as far as we're going here, you're just subtracting every time, but you pay attention to if it's complementary or supplementary so you know what you're subtracting from. Okay? All right, so we want the complement of 20. So what are we going to be doing here? If I want the complement, my total needs to be, so if I subtract 20, I should be able to know what my other angle is. 70. So in other words, I got a 20 degree and I got a 70 degree, and those do add up to 90. So you're just going to be subtracting every time. All right. Now, it's always 90 minus, never the other way around. Always 90 minus whatever the problem is. All right. So right here, pay attention to the wording. We're still complement, so you're going to do 90 minus 38 equals. All right. Now let's look at the radians, because radians is more new to us. So let's make sure we're good with that. So when they are in radians, we need to stay in radians. So I'm not going to do 90 minus. Now I'm going to do pi halves minus whatever. So if I go radian all of a sudden, you just stick to what they're doing. All right, so this is pi halves minus. Now, don't attempt to do this on your own, because when you subtract two fractions with different denominators, you got to find the least common denominator, and then you got to fix everything. You got to, unless you're super good at that, just use a calculator. I mean, a lot of people are good enough to do that, but don't mess up the problem just because you're trying to remember your fractions. Type it in. So what would this be? Pi over 10? Again, just subtracting. Always start with 90 minus or pi halves minus. All right, see what you get on the next one. Still complement. Pi over 4? Yep, very good. Alrighty. Alright, so now let's switch off to supplement. Find the supplement of 102. So what's my work gonna look like here? Good, good. 180 minus 102, which is what? 78. So again, you just gotta, worst part here is pay attention that you're looking at the word and don't mess up there, but. Alright, find the supplement of this one. I'll wait on you. 147. Okay. Again, just the worst part of this is that you make sure you got 180 when you need 180 and you got 90 when you need 90. All right. So now let's do a couple with radians. What am I subtracting from? Pi. So this will be pi minus the problem. Always pi comes first. Now, you can do calculator, or if some of y'all do like to think on your own. This one's easy to think on your own. Think about it like this. I got 1 whole pi, a whole, minus 3/4. And it would leave pi over 4. So think about it if you want to. 1 whole minus 3/4 leaves a 1/4. Or do it in your calculator. But this one you can kind of logic out. Alright, see what you get for the last one. Alright, let me see. So pi minus 2 pi fifths. So if you just want to look at it and think, 1 minus 2 fifths is 3 fifths. Or type it in. I know some of y'all like to kind of do it in your head sometime. Now, that's the last one, but I'm going to say what if. What if I have an angle? What if I have an angle that's 300 degrees, and I want to know the complement? What's the problem with that? It'd have to be negative. To get complement means you got to total out to be 90. That's way too big. So you're going to have a negative answer. So you're going to, basically you would have to do 90 minus 300 to get that answer, and it would be like a negative 210. That's okay. That's the only way you're going to get it added to be 90. So when you got something really big, you're going to have a negative answer. Or, so think logically like that. Or if you got a negative degree, like for instance, what if I had negative 25 and I wanted the complement? That'd be 90 minus negative 25 if you just do what you're normally doing. And then what happens here? Double negative. That happens. So then it'd be like 115. And that sounds crazy, but remember, you're just saying what adds to this to make it 90. And then 115 minus this is 90. So again, it may look funny. Those have to add together to be 90 is all. Or 180 or whatever. All right, thank you. All right, so